And once again, it's been a very long time since I've uploaded a new video. I know. Once again, I'm going to try to keep this channel alive, trying to make more videos on a regular basis. One of the reasons I didn't upload anymore is because, well, I just got burned out, I guess. I lost motivation and interest. I do find it difficult to just keep going and going and going and upload and upload and upload. And I guess this happens to many YouTube channels. They become burned out and they stop for a long time, and then maybe there's a comeback. And so this is another comeback of me. I want to become motivated again to think about life, because for months now I haven't been doing philosophy at all. I used to write and think about life and reality pretty extensively. But you see, when you are doing this for about a decade, you just get burned out at a certain point. For the majority of my 20s, especially my early 20s, doing philosophy was an obsession. I was dedicated to find out the truth about life. And now I'm in my early 30s, and it feels like I'm in my second existential crisis. The first existential crisis was in my 20s, when I seriously started to question life and reality. My second existential crisis is basically realizing that all of the insane amount of time that I have dedicated to finding out the truth behind life and reality didn't really do much for me on the long term. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just that, life just keeps going and going and going. Days go by, years go by, time just keeps passing by and by. And I've done my part on thinking about life, and now time just passes. And so, what now? I don't feel much different after all that thinking. But I have to continue my life and occupy my brain with other stuff. I just have to. And it just doesn't seem to matter whatever I do or think. At the end, I always end up in the same meaningless void where you ask yourself the question, and now what? What's the next thing that I want to that I want to achieve? What's the next thing that I want to do with my life? I have made quite a few videos on the meaninglessness of life, and yeah, life is just an endless loop of trying to keep your body and brain satisfied. Your entire body is an endless source of desires as long as it is alive. And you constantly have to feed it, making sure that it stays satisfied. Otherwise, you will experience suffering, of course. And for now, it seems like the older you get, the more difficult this becomes. As a young child, you are very interested in life and you become excited very easily. But as an adult, you've basically been there, done that, hundreds and hundreds of times. Almost nothing is new to you. It's just repetition after repetition after repetition. The same thing all over again and again. Going to the park, going for a swim, going for a run, going for a walk, going to a museum, going to a concert, going for a drink, going to a party, hanging out with friends. We have all done this hundreds and hundreds of times, again and again and again. And even when you try your best to look for new experiences and newer perspectives, new ideas, new hobbies, new music, etc., the new thing becomes the old thing very rapidly. Just give it some time and you're back in this meaningless void where you are searching for the next goal in your life. And it doesn't matter what it is. I think it's impossible to enjoy something to the fullest every single day for years in a row. Eventually, you will just get burned out and you end up in the same meaningless void where you don't know what to do with your life. For example, well, I like to go for a run. I like running and cycling. But I'm sick and tired of running and cycling in the town that I'm living in. I've seen it thousands of times. Each time that I'm going for a run, I want to see new places. So every week I take the train and I go to a place that I didn't went before. And I go for a run over there. But even then, after doing this hundreds of times, it also becomes quite repetitive, even though it's a new environment each time. Well, as an adult, your brain seems to require a lot more drastic experiences in order to become very excited again, like doing some exotic traveling or skydiving or going in outer space with a spaceship. That would be a crazy experience. But imagine also doing this over and over again, thousands of times. You also would become burned out on it and it wouldn't excite you anymore. Well, you see, the brain is basically designed to detect patterns, to detect structures, and right now my brain is only detecting the endless repetitive patterns of life. And because of this, the feeling of meaninglessness has never been this strong as before. Everything is extremely redundant to such a degree I have lost interest in many things and I feel like a robot going through life doing the daily activities just for the sake of keeping this body more or less satisfied, preventing it from becoming depressed or experiencing suffering. You know, when you are in your 30s, you've had thousands, well, tens of thousands of days and to experience life in millions of different ways, and there just seems to be nothing new. It's just all repetition. But again, I might be wrong. There are of course some life-changing experiences that I am unaware of, but again, if some experiences are life-changing, imagine 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 having that life-changing experience every single day for years in a row. Once again, eventually it would also become a been there, done that experience. It just doesn't matter what experience it is. Literally, everything will eventually become a been there, done that experience. The brain will eventually recognize it as a repetitive pattern, and you will be looking for something new once again. The goddamn brain is always looking for new experiences, and it's goddamn tiresome to keep it satisfied. But maybe that's just my brain. My brain easily becomes tired of things. I see repetitiveness in everything, and I become mentally tired of everything so fast, it's just unbelievable. Well, if everything goes well, I might be alive for another 50 years, and I hope something in my brain is going to change. I guess since I have no other choice than to accept this fact of life, that my brain will become content with endless repetitiveness. I really hope so, because otherwise I feel like I will become so uninterested and unexcited. Life will just numb me down, and I'll end up in a permanent state of meaningless void. Well, I try to enjoy the little things in life, but after a while, I just fail to keep enjoying it. It's just inevitable. And I think this also mostly has to do with the fact that the brain is constantly putting things into perspective. It is constantly comparing everything with everything else. And this causes you to have a very relativistic perspective of life. At least that's how I am mostly perceiving life. For me, everything is very relativistic, and so that also strengthens the feeling of meaninglessness. Whereas for a child who has very little knowledge of the world, the child is incapable of having a relativistic perspective. the child experiences everything for the first time, so the child can't make comparisons between things. And that's why it basically has an absolute perspective of life. But as you grow older, you gain more and more experiences, more and more memories, more and more thoughts, and therefore your brain starts to compare all of your experiences with your memories, causing it to have a relativistic experience of life. And that sucks because nothing is special anymore. When your experience of life becomes so very relative, then nothing is special anymore because, oh yeah, it's just another day with just another walk in the park. It's just another day at work. It's just another movie on the television. It's just another meal, and it's just another that, etc. In this way, you basically devalue everything and you don't appreciate it anymore, um, or not as much as you did as you were a child. and and it's extremely difficult as an adult to start valuing everything once again the same way you did as when you were a child. It's difficult because you have experienced everything thousands and thousands of bloody times. It's goddamn repetitive. The only thing that seems to help a lot for adults to escape this boring, mundane, repetitive life is by using, well, yeah, drugs and alcohol. Well, when I consume alcohol, I am able to enjoy and feel happy about things that I normally would find rather boring when I'm sober. Now, I wish I could also experience that without alcohol, but it really doesn't, unfortunately. I wish I could experience life as a child again, you know? They seem to be naturally high on life all the time, children. So, yeah, well, anyways, besides this rather pessimistic video, once again, I hope all of you are doing well. Thanks for listening, and I will definitely be making another video. So till the next time.